Morning folks, right back to the small pictures. This is half a sheet, so it's 7.5 inches by 11. That's the overall size. The aperture size would be probably 3/4 of an inch smaller than that. It's a bit of my watercolour paper, the £90 weight. It's got a watercolour under that. They don't all work, and they'll go for demonstrations, but I'm doing a series of coastal pictures with with just an indication of a lighthouse, some rocks and crashing waves. And if you're quite new to painting or oil painting, watercolour painting, acrylic, and you're getting very interested in having a go, or you're early on, I would recommend using as few colours as possible. Don't go out and buy a box of all the different colours, because you won't use most of them, and if you do, you'll end up with a load of mud. So my basic palette here, or this cadmium red, ultramarine, burnt sienna, bit of Payne's grey, cadmium yellow pale, and either raw sienna or yellow ochre, and I've got some Griffin white there. That's the alkyd resin-based white, mixed with a bit of ordinary cheap stuff. Because it's great that the white one mixes with most of the colours, and it helps them all to dry overnight. The paper's a little bit lumpy from the primer. I primed it with a coat of acrylic, burnt umber, and mixed in with some white gesso, a good quality gesso. Anything else? There's a bit of oil in here, linseed oil with some dryer mixed in it. Just tell me. The temperature outside it's a cloudy 5 degrees at the moment. We lost all the sort of warm weather from last week. Well, that's okay because it's very early March. The noise you hear is from a fan heater from right on top of the house here on the second floor. So what else do we need? Brushes, well, just any old brushes really. These sort of cheap brushes do brilliant stippling and other effects. But I'm going to use this, just use this inch varnish brush. I need to buy some more of them, but I'm not sure whether Hobbycraft is open. You can always go online. But sometimes it's good just to go to a store and get the feel of things. Also, you might find some special offers. I did a couple of years ago. We went over there one Christmas, and there was a box of cheap paints. Well, the paints were good, but they were dented and so on. And I bought 3 or 4 for about £2.50. It's a really big choose. So I'm more than pleased with that, but they've long gone. So there we are, just a basic palette. Learn to use all the colours to produce what tone you want, all the greens. My greens are mostly mixed with cadmium red, ultramarine and the yellow, the 3 primaries. Sometimes a shortcut with a bit of Payne's grey. The burnt sienna, it's a Winton, the student quality, they all are student quality. But that is the best red I've come across. It's very dark red, burnt sienna. Beautiful, beautiful colour, and it mixes lovely for the clouds. Just a touch of it, and you get these beautiful warm clouds. And there we are. So let's do a bit of a drawing. I always try to imagine a bit of I'm always mindful of Cornwall and horizon. Let's have horizon. I don't like high horizons. I like fairly low. That's over a third, but we'll see coming around here, and then we'll block it here with a slabby rock. What's coming around here, swirling around, and then into a bit of sandy foreshore. You can put in a bit of some rocks for the lighthouse. So there we are, we've got a bit of detail in that. I'll probably paint over it and have to reinstate it. I've lost one of my brushes, I think. It's a lovely 1/4 inch flat bristle. It's probably on the floor somewhere. So I do work in a bit of a mud. Oh, here it is. Couldn't see it for looking. This one, my pal Alan Owen, great watercolour painter, sent me a lot of oil stuff, including paints. He's given up on the oils at his age. He's too old. But we chat endlessly on the phone. Right, okay, so colour of rocks, well, any colour really. Let the viewer decide what the colour is. I don't pay too much attention. You've got to do your counter change, your lights against the dark, all the time. You must always be aware of that. But I'm only talking about landscape painting. I'm talking about abstracts. Although I do like abstract oil painting. But I try to get my paintings a bit on the abstract side. I can't really go full abstract. I've tried. It's not me. This is more me. Okay, right. Well, let's get started. Sky first. A bit of dry in this oil. Look, I've got some oil. Some good quality linseed oil. It's not artist quality, but I've mixed it with some of this artisan Winsor & Newton fast drying medium. It's an alkyd resin, and it's superb stuff. So the painting will go a bit tacky using that as you go along. It does dry, but anyway, let's have a bit of a blue sky for a change. Bit of oil so it doesn't get all nice and movable, lubricated. Don't worry if the background or the ground colour shows through. Movement, just loosely around there, and we'll put in some cloud colour. Cloth. I've got my rollers here on a bit of toweling. When you cut toweling into squares as I do, you go through all the little loops. So be careful because they do tend to get into the paint. So you can always shape them and get the loose bits out. And when I get short of toweling, I just go on Facebook and one of my groups groups I'm involved with, and put out a clarion call for towel needed desperately. Okay, now we'll go in with a bit of oil, bit of burnt sienna, bit of white, bit of fat griffin. Put some in there. Now, you don't want to fiddle around with your skies too much. Oh, my wife's just coming. Been up to the bank. Not to put our money in, but to pay our parking card. Okay, let's see if we can refine some of that. Feel a bit of mauvey stuff in there. I've got really nice and light now. A bit of pesto. Now I'm right-handed, so I tend to paint the way I do. So sort of a mild day at Cornwall. Just an impression. There's some cloud in there. Bit of Payne's grey. With that blue. Great, very useful colour, Payne's grey. But don't overuse it. That white will just shine. I don't want any hard edges. Really, that'll do. Let's get a bit darker in here though. Bit of blue and Payne's grey are bedfellows. Okay, well that'll do. Let's get a sea colour. Ultramarine with a touch of the sienna. Mostly on the blue side, but we've got a light sky, so we want a nice, sympathetic horizon. I usually use yellow ochre for this. Now, don't put masking tape on your paper to get a straight horizon. Blend it into the clouds. Good, a bit of shadow with that. Just to kill the blueness a little bit. Go over the big drawing. I've done lots of these, but I'm going to put half a dozen of them on Etsy because I sold 4 recently to a friend in Germany. Right, I'll just soften. Now I've taken too much of that off. Go back over there. Yeah, see what I've done. I've taken too much off and it's showing the drawing underneath. Oops. Okay, now we'll just do a bit of softening. Okay, if anybody complains, that's a wave. It's because the paper's a bit buckled. I only primed one side of it. Okay, now with a small brush, put a the rocks in and paint the windmill, the lighthouse. Sorry, brain's a bit addled. One side dark, coming out of the bottom. Oops. I've come over too far with that, so let's just repaint the sky there. I know we've got some white or lighter, very brilliant, catching some light there. On the edge of the way. Quite a tricky manoeuvre that. Now the base wider. Than the top. There's going to be a shadow on one side. Okay, that there. The danger is not going to look like something else. Right, now we'll just get some of this raw sienna. I don't use a lot of raw sienna. I use it in watercolour painting. Get some dark in there. Paint's grey. Right, get some lighter stuff on there. Don't want it too stark. Break up that hard edge somewhat. That's better. Now we want to get some nice okay, now we'll just concentrate on that. Use a smaller brush now for that. Now I wash my brushes in washing up liquid. Brilliant. Put some in your middle of your hand or on the brush, and then just waggle it around, and then go through all the bristles. And clean it off in the soapy water residue, and your brushes will stay lovely and soft and lovely and usable. Right, I'm still not happy about that bit, so let's just do that again. Now we'll put in a bit of sky colour. You can stick these pieces of brown paper to MDF, or you can frame them off like watercolour. Right, let's get a bit of that light bluey colour. Just and the fun begins. Just some ripples. Okay, now we're getting with the rocks. So what do I need for a rock brush? Well, if you want the rocks to be slabby, then use a slabby brush. So let's. I'll do that later. I want to get some green. I always like a bit of green on my rocks at the top. Can put a bit of a tree in there. Okay, that'll do. And now we're going with some of this yellow. It's a bit of light there. Now to change. And we're going with a bit of Payne's grey. A bit of red. Now I want dark rocks and foreground here. The bottom really is shadow. I want to counter change against the beach. I do approximate rocks. Now, I'm not working from any reference material, I'm just making it up as I go along, but I have done a lot of it over the years. Okay, so that's brightened up a bit. Then we'll put in some rocks now out here. So let's have a bit of a grey. It's a mix of grey. But a warm grey. That doesn't show. So we have to go darker or lighter. So let's go darker. These are three dark colours together. Okay, so the water will come down the edges there, probably over the top of this. And we've got a nice rock in the foreground. Now you do get a bit of seaweedy stuff on the top of these rocks, so we're painting a bit green. Okay, now we're going to muck about with the water now. So I'm going to muck about with a water brush, have a swig of my bottle. Oh, lost my internet. Sorry, I'm watching a cricket. I got carried away there. I'm quite a long way from the route, so alright, check the internet. No internet. Oh, this is a dead loss. Oh, I'll forget it. Right, okay, so we've got a brush that we can use for the crashing waves. So let's slightly bluer, a shadowy colour. let's add some blue to that. We'll refine that in a minute. Just get some sandy colour, and that's why I've changed to the yellow ochre. Because I think this makes a better sand colour. So it does a bit darker because we've got a shadow there. More white in there. Darker. It's a sort of a bluey colour just to go over that darker there. And we're going with the lighter stuff. Bit too regimented there, so we'll just get a bit of a bigger crash. Alright, now what you would see is a bit of a reflection of those rocks. And we're just putting some ripples. Just picking up the light from the sky now. Blue. Okay, we put in a little bit of a ripple colour underneath some of these. Just I usually do use the largest brush I can get away with. Okay, so. Some sand back in here. Very easy to overdo all this. I just put too much in when a little would do. Okay, well I don't reckon that's too bad. Okay, that looks as if I fiddled around with it too much, does it? It's got a dark tone in there. Right, okay, I think we'll let that go. dismantle everything so I can put it in a mount. Take all this stuff off. I had to put loads on because my board's got quite a bit of linseed on it now after lots of use, and the masking tape doesn't really stick to it. Okay, let's fix that with a bit of masking tape. Get through tons of masking tape. It's such a useful product, isn't it? Alright, okay, let's get my new cup mounts. There we are. Got a bottle there, I think. No. That'll do, that'll do. So there we are. Nice bit of sun catching the greenery. So I hope you like that one, folks. That's all I'm going to do today. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.